Thank you for joining us today. My name is Patrick Mike, Strategic Marketing and Events Manager at Dish Business. I'd like to welcome you to the International Luxury Hotel Association's webinar on the future of hospitality technology, moderated by myself with panelists Kathleen Erickson, Vice President of Information Technology at Omni Hotels and Resorts, Robert Grosz, Executive Vice President and Chief Commercial Officer at World Cinema, Vaughn Davis, General Manager of Dream Hollywood. Today's webinar is brought to you by Dish Business, and I would like to briefly tell you about our approach to technological innovation. Hotel guests' needs are ever-changing, and on-property experiences are driven by personalization and flexibility. The average number of streaming subscriptions per family is 3.8, giving them access to over 100,000 hours of content. This definitely had an impact on the 49% increase we saw in TV viewing in occupied rooms between 2019 and 2020. Additionally, 88% of hotel customers say that the smart TV content streaming is an important feature when they're choosing one hotel over another. And 55% of hotels offer or plan to offer smart TVs and content streaming in the guest room. Dish has made many technological advancements in in-room entertainment over the past few years, and the aforementioned stats serve as a reminder that the hotel industry as a whole needs to continue to innovate. When owners invest in innovation, they are delivering new technology to meet ever-changing guest expectations to drive revenue and retain customers. For example, the changes in viewing habits indicate the guest entertainment is more than just in-room entertainment. It happens property-wide. Today's hotel guests expect to watch what they want, when they want, and where they want. As a result, the industry has begun to adopt casting to deliver content and needs to enable more of it. Instant access to preferred content has been a huge selling point for guests and has quickly become an industry standard. Dish and all the esteemed panelists are looking to innovation that will continue to enhance the guest experience while providing hotel owners with data they can use to further improve customer experience and satisfaction. As companies in the hotel industry continue to innovate, ease of use and seamless connectivity are two factors that drive improved guest experience. Hotel platforms need to seamlessly integrate with guest technology to provide personalized experiences. Properties will benefit from improved branding, more opportunities to deliver customized messaging, additional customer touchpoints that provide data, which will make future guest interactions even more predictive and tailored to the specific guest's needs. This is achieved through streaming capabilities, as guests can stream anywhere on property using their own devices. The ability for hotels to offer personalized experiences that guests want while capturing and utilizing valuable data is dependent on having entertainment and continuous connectivity. We need to stop thinking about cellular versus Wi-Fi, as both technologies complement each other to provide consistent connectivity, which create the personalized guest experience. We're curious to see how brands are reacting to new guest expectations, and the panel is going to provide insight on the rate at which they are implementing change to meet these expectations. In some hotels, the temperature is set to the guest's preference upon arrival. Their front hall lights automatically dim when they get ready for bed, and their TVs predict the restaurants they enjoy and when they may want to make a reservation. How long until this becomes widely adopted? What's next? Will virtual reality and augmented reality become widespread? Are there other technologies we are overlooking? Our panelists will provide a lot of insight on how new technologies benefit guests and owners alike, and Dish Business is committed to helping hoteliers provide the personalized entertainment experiences that will delight guests today, and we are developing the connectivity solutions that will provide and power the guest experience of the future. So let's begin today's discussion on the future of hospitality technology. How do hotel guests benefit from technological innovation? Kathleen, please start us off.
Thank you, Patrick. It all comes down to the guest experience. So if we think about technological innovation, we think about the tangible and intangible benefits that we provide our guests and what they're looking for. So in our hotels, if you think about the business traveler, they're coming to the hotel, they want to keep with their daily routines. They would like to come into the room after a long meeting, maybe put the TV on, stream their favorite movie, go ahead and push a button and be able to order food right directly from our restaurant so they don't have to go in and make a reservation. You think about our leisure travelers coming in, they get into the guest room, they want to see something exciting. They want innovation and technology that's going to maybe give them an adventure that they don't generally get at home because they're trying to escape from their everyday life. And then, of course, we focus on our families. We have a lot of resorts. And as we think about technological innovation in our hotels, we have to think about what do they want? It's always changing. The guest demands are always changing. How do we go ahead and have something there that the kids may want to do and will get them excited because they're used to being at home on their gaming systems? And then how do we, for the parents, and give them the experiences that they want, from walking around our resort and making sure they know where they're going or how to get their kids to an event on time. So that's for us, the overall guest experience and actually personalizing that experience for each of the guests, for their individual needs, and really taking time to make sure that the technologies and innovations that we put in are something that they're wanting to have.
And Vaughn, is this the case at your hotels as well?
Yeah, it's a very similar experience for us and our guests here at Dream Hollywood. The thing that we did is we took a look at some of the data that was available through some of the different CRM data points that we have within our organization, and we tailored the experience to our guests. For the most part, we saw that our hotel guests wanted to be out and go to the rooftop and have some kind of a transformative experience outside of the rooms. So we started to build the experience around that. And then when the pandemic hit, we made an adjustment to ensure that we were able to offer robust, fun, unique experiences within the rooms. And then we started to take it to a whole nother level with some of the NFT components and then the robots. And the number one thing that we took away from the shift in our operating model was that guests have a tremendous amount of technology available to them in their homes. And when they travel to a hotel, it should have a very similar experience. Even though we want to give them some kind of a unique offering, they are used to the ease of life and with the technology that's available at home. So we wanted to adjust our operating model accordingly.
And Bob, what are your thoughts on the topic?
Well, I think from a guest standpoint, technology has to be additive to their experience at the property that they're visiting or in the location that they're visiting. It can't be technology for technology's sake. It's got to be technology for guest experience sake. So the technology has to work. It has to be intuitive. It can't be something that requires a lot of thought to use. It has to have a wow factor, kind of in an immersive way, as opposed to a wow factor in terms of, boy, this is difficult for me to use. So it's all about the guests. Hospitality is a people business. It's not necessarily a technology business, but with technology evolving the way it is, we can help people become more efficient and happier and provide a better experience. And I think from that standpoint, that's why we're so excited about being in the business, is that it's tough it's tough to do things that are difficult that are also invisible and intuitive and almost magical. And that's kind of what we look at from a service provider standpoint. How can we help a hotel partner with a hotel to make that technology experience absolutely invisible, intuitive, but still make that guest excited about using it.
Excellent. All interesting themes that we're seeing from this discussion in regards to seamless integration, guest personalization of the experience while balancing it with the unique experience that hotels offer. From the hotel owner's side, as technological innovation continues and hotels keep up with these expectations that the guests are wanting in their stays, how are hotel owners benefiting from advances in technological innovation going forward?
Yeah, I'm finding that the owners are a lot happier based on some of the cost savings associated with the advancements in technology and hospitality. You're able to streamline services. So, for example, the robots that we have at our property are 2 Savio robots. They reduce the amount of day-to-day monotonous tasks that our team members had to be subjected to when it came to delivering amenities to guest rooms or someone's Uber Eats or seamless order. And it gave them the ability to free up time and become untethered from those day-to-day tasks and connect with guests organically, which was really important for us, right? We're now currently the #2 hotel on TripAdvisor in all of Los Angeles, striving to be #1 soon. But we saw the shift happen in conjunction with all of the upgraded technology that we added to the hotel. In the past, team members would spend an average of 2 minutes or more connecting with a guest, and then their phone would start ringing or vibrating, saying you have to go deliver a toothbrush to a guest room, or you have to go and deliver a newspaper, or anything that was just something that could have been done by a robot, and allow the team member to have more time to connect with the hotel guest. So with that shift, you're seeing a savings across the board in labor. Efficiency has increased, productivity has improved, and overall helps the guest experience, and the owners are very happy at the end of the day when the bottom line is a lot healthier.
And Kathleen, are your owners seeing the same benefits?
Very similar to what Vaughn has said. Our owners are definitely investing in technology and the right technologies that we need for our hotels. Going back to one of the points that was mentioned earlier about data. So we may not lead with technology, but we definitely use technology and innovation to make decisions for the guest experience and for our overall memorable experiences that we do make for our guests. So I like to think of it as we're investing in edge decision making. We need to be able to be spontaneous with the solutions that we have for the owners, for the hotel operators, to go ahead and meet those needs of the guests while they're on site. Take a look into their profiles. What is it they want? Give them some offers while they're there and actually pivot, because a lot of times they come to the hotels and we don't know that they actually may be interested in an activity that they never tried before. So having innovation and solutions that allows us to be able to tell what they're looking at in real time allows us that ability to pivot and to give them an even greater experience while they're on site. So the technology investments that we're making allow us this for our strategic planning and for the future, and also just most importantly, to make sure the guests are happy. Now, we all know with technology, the ROI is not there for the owners like it used to be. Used to be you can buy a TV or put in some type of technology, a phone system, and you know how many years you're going to get out of it, and it's easier to manage. And guest demands have changed so drastically that we sometimes will think that it's a great idea, and then a year later it changes again. And so we have to be able to, on our side, on the technology side, work with the business, work with ownership to balance those needs, balance what our guests need, get to market fast with our ideas, and then be able to pivot as needed on the spot for our guests. So looking at the data and what the owners are getting out of these solutions that we're giving them, it really has helped us with knowing how to better understand our guests and those unique experiences that they're looking for.
And Bob, from the supplier's perspective, how is technological innovation benefiting hotel owners?
Sure. I mean, like Kathleen mentioned, it's all about ROI, and it's ROI from an owner's perspective. It's ROI from a service perspective too. The ROI is much more than just the low cost or least cost for a specific solution. You have to look at ROI and kind of the big picture. You've got to look at ROI from how does this affect my occupancy? How does this affect my RevPAR? Am I able to bill more for my product than my competition does in the local market from a hospitality perspective? So technology, I think a hotel without technology is going to struggle. We live in a mobile first world right now. And so every guest that comes through that door, even children sometimes, have mobile devices that they carry. And they might not be phones, they might be tablets, they might be toys, they might be watches. But having a Wi-Fi connection or a wireless connection that connects you to the rest of the world within every square foot of the building is very, very important. So if you look at ROI from that standpoint, you need to pick the right provider. You need to pick the provider that's going to be there when things break, because with technology, like many other things will always break. So you've got to be able to solve those problems very quickly and have a solution that just works. So that's how we look at ROI from a service provider standpoint.
It seems like you've all highlighted the importance of personalizing the guest experience, providing a seamless integration, using data to gather insights on guest needs. What's next, Bob? What do smart hotels of the future look like to you?
Yeah, again, mobile first. I don't think we're going to see at the end of that generation for a while. I think some of the things that Vaughn, you're doing at the Dream Hollywood is exceptional in terms of use of technology, and I'm sure you're going to get into that in a little bit. We're looking at things where you've got to have a stable wireless connectivity. You have to have in-room entertainment that's solid, that works, that's easy to use and easy to interface with. And then you can build all kinds of experiences on top of those two platforms. whether it's a mobile platform, whether it's an on-screen platform, whether it's casting to televisions from the guest mobile device in an intuitive way. All of those things are very important, are going to be part of the fabric of the future in hospitality related to technology, at least.
And Kathleen, can you please weigh in on the topic?
I'd like to continue forward with the thought that Bob has. When we look at technology, I like to think of it as we've been down this parallel path of cellular and Wi-Fi and IoT, and now getting into augmented reality and those types of technologies. And we're almost coming to an intersection where independently they're not going to work, but all together collectively they can. So it looks like to me for Omni, we are constantly looking at all the technologies that are out there, trying to balance what makes the most sense for us so that we don't take away from the core value of providing that personalized high touch service to our guests that we generally would provide to them and that they expect when they go to our hotels. So when I think about technology, I can think about down the road us putting in some augmented reality. We're known for our F&B and for our dining experiences. So why not, instead of the guests just looking at these beautiful photos, go ahead and have the ability to almost immerse themselves into an idea or a view of what it could be like to eat at that restaurant, or an activity for their children. Sometimes you want to sign up for an activity, or you want to yourself go do something and you take a look at it and it's like, well, I think I might like that, or I've never tried it. So just go ahead and use innovation to show them a little bit bigger glimpse into that. And of course, what else, we're always thinking about, especially in the larger hotels and larger resorts, is just navigation. How long is it going to take me to get to my spa appointment? Where do I have to go? Oh no, I might be lost, especially with offsite buildings. Building in that technology to go ahead and be able to navigate the hotel seamlessly and do it without having to wait for somebody to help them just with their mobile phone.
And Vaughn, at your properties, I know you're kind of a leader at developing a lot of different ideas for smart hotels going forward. Anything that you like to share that you can share with us?
Yeah, I'm going to be very careful with what I share at the moment. I can tell you what we have done, and then I can give you kind of like my outlook on how I see the future of hospitality shaping up. So at Dream Hollywood, we were the first to launch an on-property NFT gallery, where it has upwards to $3 million worth of NFT art within the gallery. And then we have, certain exhibitions that are curated for specific types of important, guest experiences. For example, Ice Cube, right? He had a launch at our property where all of his NFT art was adorned throughout the hotel. And then we had an event that coincided with the launch. We had an artist named Perry Cooper, who most recently had a drop called Bottles for Ukraine, where all of the proceeds in partnership with UNICEF will go to families in need in Ukraine. So it's 30 one-of-one NFTs that are minted and on display right now at our property. The drop will happen on 4/22, right? So it's a multifaceted approach towards delivering an exceptional experience, right? Reimagining, your traditional art that's static in your hotel and your art programming to have something that's a little bit more dynamic. So the team members from Crypt Gallery can pretty much update the art remotely from New York anytime they want. So the next iteration for us with that is how can we get that into the guest rooms, and how can we get that onto the guest floors to make it simple for hotel guests to order an NFT directly from the hotel, have it delivered to their home and a Samsung frame, or delivered directly to their wallet, their Ethereum wallet. So that's one example. We touched on the robots delivering to the guest rooms. Alfred and Jeffrey, our two best friends at Dream Hollywood. They have, besides just a productivity improvement and cost savings with the robots, they actually are huge with social media and marketing. So if you go online, you'll see that Alfred and Jeffrey are probably by far the most popular that are posted on some of the major social platforms. Guests are just in awe that a robot can deliver items to your room. They don't expect it. They never see the robot in the lobby. I don't know why. There are two of them. They're in there. And then when they arrive to the room, they either text or call you. So hotel guests open the door and it's that wow factor, right? So peek and rule 101. they get to see this unique experience actually being executed, and not something that's, doing a robot dance stuck in the hallway, making things weird, but actually delivering items for them. So it adds to the guest experience for our hotel guests. I see, as we all touched on, mobile, right? Mobile is very important. If you have, a mobile device and you have access to an abundance of technology, it's pretty much a supercomputer in your back pocket. Why is it that when you go to a hotel, you're subjected to antiquated technology that's from like the early 1900s, right? That's not okay. Currently right now in my home, I can't say her name, but if I was to say the A word's name and tell her to order me, some dog food, she would say, yeah, sure, I'll order you the same dog food that you ordered last time. Would you like it delivered tomorrow? I would say, absolutely. The dog food would be at my door tomorrow. So if guests have access to that, why can't they have access to that in their room, right? Voice is really going to be the future and is the untapped frontier currently right now in hospitality. It should be as seamless and frictionless as I'm in my room, I say the name of that product, and I'll say to her, order me a cheeseburger, and she'll be able to order a cheeseburger from the restaurant. The cheeseburger will be placed into the robot and then delivered to the guest room. As we continue to strive towards being a multi-planetary species, it's going to be important with projects like Project Gateway, Project Artemis that NASA is working on currently, that we also in hospitality understand that there's going to be an importance for us to operate in lower Earth orbit and beyond. So with that mindset, it's important for us to embrace Web3 and the metaverse, right? Hospitality can't just live here on this planet. It's going to transcend into lower Earth orbit and beyond, and as well as the metaverse. So you already see a couple brands, I won't say their names because they're good friends, and they might or might not have taken the idea from someone I know that's very close to me. But they already launched some of their metaverse ideas that they're doing, and I will be very clear that Dream Hotel Group and Dream Hollywood will be in the metaverse. And the experience has to transcend to the metaverse because Web3 is here. The fourth industrial revolution is here. It's just a matter of us adapting and making the adjustment. The consumer base, 50% is Gen Y. The 20% is Gen Z. Those Gen Z, they're 24 years old. They're here, they're in the workforce. So what are they doing? If they grew up the majority of their lives on this device, and we have to make the adjustment as well. So you'll see hotels getting involved in Sandbox and Decentraland and Fortnite and all of these metaverses and building out experiences there that guests can either be in a hotel and enjoy on their Oculus, their VR, or from the comfort of their home and still get that same type of fun experience that the hotel offers, but in the metaverse.
Yeah, Patrick, I'd like to step in because Vaughn, you're tapping into something that's very, very cool. I'm sure that there is a subsegment of the audience that has no idea what Vaughn is talking about. And they should, because it is the future, right? The metaverse is going to be a powerful tool. And right now there are a lot of disbelievers out there. But I think that where technology is going, and we mentioned it before, the networks have to catch up, right? Wi-Fi 7, which is called 802.11be, is going to be coming out in 2024. It's going to really roll in 2025. And then those devices, which include AR, goggles and glasses and things that don't exist today, at least in the commercial world, are going to become more and more prevalent. And what 802.11be or Wi-Fi 7 does is it increases or decreases latency almost 100 times over what Wi-Fi currently does, and it's going to increase throughput by up to 5 times. And it's going to be a more intelligent network. The access points are going to be aware of each other. Devices are going to be able to attach to more than one access point and more than one bandwidth at the same time. And it's going to provide for some pretty interesting technology shifts in the hotel space or any dense environment where you've got lots of people aggregating in one space. I think that the important part, though, and I failed to mention this before, is that from a service provider's perspective, you've got to be good at becoming the glue. You've got to be the glue of all these technologies and bringing them all together. That's going to be very, very important from a service provider's perspective. Being able to cooperate with other companies, even your competition. I think the companies that can do that well are going to be the companies that you want to do business with long term.
And Bob, what kind of activities do you need to make sure that those partnerships are remaining active and everything's up to date and that technological advancements are continuing to go forward? How do you navigate those partnerships to help both the guest experience and the hotel owner's ROI?
Yeah, it's a really a cultural thing, right? You've got to have the mindset that this is not a zero-sum game. You know, there are other companies out there that have other technologies, and no one has the corner on intelligence and good ideas. So you've got to be open-minded about cooperating with people, and you've got to be able to form relationships quickly that are mutually beneficial. And I'm talking about not just with hotels and service providers, but amongst service providers and amongst technology platforms. You know, today the center of the data world, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kathleen and Vaughn, is the property management system, right? That's where reservations flow into. That's where the guest experience starts at the front desk. It often is the source of truth amongst hotel guest information. You've got to be able to have a cooperative relationship with those folks, even if you're a TV provider or a Wi-Fi provider or a robot provider or an NFT platform. You know, you've got to be able to cooperate with those folks. So some people don't have that DNA, and they're going to struggle. You know, some do, and they're going to thrive.
And Bob, you make an excellent point on that, because looking at the data and the property management system and the core systems, that's one of the things with the solutions that we're looking at, that we have to make sure that we have those integrations, because that data actually comes out of that source system, comes out of our other source systems, and all these innovations and technologies we're putting in the hotel to capture everything we can about the guest, to put that into a CDP and really strengthen our customer data platform as a single point of truth, so we really know what it is they want. So that relationship that you're talking about with not only our core service providers, but each individual provider that provides an amenity or a service or a new technology to us is hypercritical, because it's all coming together into one integrated platform. And if we don't have that, as we're looking at solutions for owners, if we're not thinking about that and how we're going to integrate this data, we may have different paths of data happening. And so we may be targeting one guest for an experience that maybe they no longer like, because in their current database, they like something else. So you're spot on with that piece. And then Vaughn, back to what you were talking about, there's so much coming. It is almost hard for us as technology leaders to stay in front of it, especially with owners, as we talked about, that are used to looking at technology in more of a 5-year cycle. We now are shifting and pivoting really quickly. So I go back to what do we look at as hoteliers when we're looking at technology and innovation? We have to look at what works for us, our value proposition, our hotel. What may work for one may not work for another, even in our own portfolio. We have to make sure that we do standardize the experience across the brand. So if they go into one Omni hotel, they're in another hotel, they get that same sense and feeling of that, feeling special and feeling that personalized attention. But when it comes to technology, for instance, wayfinding or something like that, we may not need that in a convention hotel. We're at a resort, we do, or we may not have as many families in a hotel where the augmented reality for looking at these experiences makes sense. So we have a lot we have to think about when we sit down to say, here's our business case. It's no longer about just the dollars, how long it's going to last, what's the useful life, how long do we have to support it? It now becomes, how does this align with the business strategy? And is that business strategy going to change? Of course it is. It changes as we go. Look what happened with COVID. We all had to pivot, shift, and we're still shifting from contactless. We're all doing that to the in-room dining and how we get on the go and make things more easy and convenient. So as the next year or two go by, there's going to be other shifts that happen. And we just have to be able to pivot and be able to educate our owners on why the solution and why this innovation makes sense for us, and how does that meet our value proposition.
You raise a great point, Kathleen, in regards to how COVID has changed the ways that guests enjoy in-room entertainment, what that in-room experience looks like. As hotel operators seek technology solutions to improve and elevate in-room entertainment, what things should they be considering?
As I mentioned, they really need to be looking at the platforms. They need to be looking, to Bob's point, and to say this, the solution providers. Are they going to be there as partners? Are they going to be with us for this ride? Are they going to sell us something, step aside and not help us? It's not about just implementing the technology. It's how do we use the technology? How do we measure the performance and the adoption rate? And how do we know that it really was a success and make sure that it works correctly? We definitely have to be looking at technologies that have open APIs because we are data centric. And if we are going to make memorable experiences for our guests, as I mentioned previously, we have to make those decisions on the spot. We can no longer wait for a survey that comes out 2 weeks later, whether our guest is happy, whether they're sad. We want to be there at that moment to be able to say, here, we're here for you. We're here to help you. And that's what draws the guests to our hotels is that personalized service. But of course, they want the innovation and technology. They want to use their TVs. We still have the content on there for them if that's what they like, the free to guest content, but also the casting and streaming. They have to be able to connect to the internet. They have to be able to get things quickly because everybody, everybody wants everything faster now because we got used to delivery during COVID. So we have to give that. And we have to look at what other experiences we have and what type of automation we have to make sure that we're meeting their needs.
Yeah, so you touch on a really good point. Sorry, let me just jump in really quickly there. And it's something that Bob touched on as well. I think what we need to do as an industry is audit the entire guest journey, right? This is one of the oldest industries that has ever existed, right? Go back to the beginning of the first ever mentioned hotel. You know what book it's in. We haven't really done much innovation, right? There's a lot of cool things that we're dabbling in, but it's pretty much still the same. You check in, you go, you sleep in a room, and then you check out and you leave. We need to audit that entire experience. It has completely changed. For example, and we can start from the ground up, right? The backbone, the infrastructure, and Bob touched on this. In my house, I can get upwards to 200 megabits per second up and down. I go to a hotel and they offer me free Wi-Fi and it's 2 megabits per second up and down. Why is that even still a thing? Why are we offering people 2 megabits per second up and down? And in their house, they can get upwards to 100, 200 or more, depending if they have Starlink, they can get 600 up and down, right? So that's one of the examples. So what we've done is we have pretty much just went back to first principles and we have broken down the entire guest journey. So from the backbone, Airvine is a company that we're looking at. And Airvine is, I don't know if you're familiar with Airvine, I think Bob, you are, but Airvine pretty much is some Nikola Tesla technology that it's like an Eero that you have in your house, but a commercial grade version of it that connects and allows all of this amazing, robust, open network capabilities that enhances the current Wi-Fi that you have to give you the ability to utilize all of these devices with ease. There's actually a use case right now. A friend of mine reached out. It's like, hey, Coachella has zero Wi-Fi, zero access. I can't find my friends. I try to post on Instagram. I can't post cool videos and pictures. So now Airvine's heading out to Coachella to set up for a major artist back of house because people are still working when they're there, right? And they're just going to drop right in, plug in, and then boom, enhance the pre-existing Wi-Fi to allow upwards to 200 megabits per second up and down. Those are things you're going to have to look at, right? Because for some of the legacy properties, if your pre-existing infrastructure, is some fiber optic cabling, how much is that going to cost to change it out? It's going to be extremely expensive. So you're gonna have to decide, am I gonna have to rip all the guts out of the wall and just reinstall new cabling to enhance the internet capabilities in my hotel? Or am I gonna work with a company like Airvine, right? Because to support the robots, to support the kiosks, to support people coming in with an average of 5 devices, to support your streaming services, your TVs, your micros, your NFT gallery in your hotel, your team using, Hot Sauce and Opera and their Android or Apple devices to communicate. We are using technology way more than we ever did in the past So we're obviously going to need to upgrade our infrastructure. So that's like one of the big things that we did that's been very helpful for us to enhance, the capabilities of the technology that we're utilizing, and for our guests to have a seamless use of their technologies that they brought into the hotel.
And how are those guests using that specifically in the room in regards to their entertainment experience?
Yeah, well, if you are at your house and you were stuck in your home for upwards to a year and a half because of the pandemic, you binged every single TV show on every single streaming platform. So now you're programmed in a sense, right, to want that kind of entertainment on demand. So when you travel, you're going to go to a hotel room and, okay, let me ask you this question. When is the last time you've seen someone sit in a hotel room or in their home and cycle through the channels, and at 6 o'clock they're on the news? When's the last time that's happened? I haven't seen my kids do it. I don't do it. I don't know who's doing it, right? My kids are usually on this device here, or on a laptop, or on VR goggles. They rarely ever use the TV. So hotel guests, when they come to the hotel, they want to be able to just seamlessly go to their device in their Netflix account and watch whatever show they were watching, and then let it cast to the television. So it's like it's continued seamless connectivity in the guest experience from home to hotel. So there's never any break within that experience for the guests, even when they're in their car or the flight. The whole experience is continuous. And it's important that we help to facilitate that. We can't be the ones that break that cycle, because it's a level of, the guest becomes uncomfortable. It's not what they're used to for the past 2 years almost in their homes. They're able to watch any streaming platform they want, any show they want, and then they come to a hotel and they can't do it. It's like, what do I do now? Okay, let me go. Oh, everything's closed because it's late. Now the user experience is hampered.
Bob, what are your thoughts on that particular topic?
Yeah, I completely agree with what Vaughn's saying. I think it's a generational thing, and most hotels serve multiple generations, and you can't say no to any of them, really. So, I think that there's still a segment of business travelers that like to flip their TV on and use it as background noise, or like to watch ESPN, or maybe they enjoy flipping through the channels. I don't know. I mean, you're right, Vaughn. I don't do that anymore because I'm so young, of course, which is a joke, by the way. But no one laughed.
I'm with you, Bob. I'm laughing. I'm trying not to cut you off.
I'm laughing with you, Bob.
Yeah. So, but I think that if you're in a hotel, you have to be attuned with what's coming next, and the guests that are in the workforce today, and they're business travelers. There's a sub-segment of those guests that have never flipped the channels. They go directly to their phone. They watch their apps. They get most of their content from something like YouTube, and you have to be able to provide kind of that lean back experience on your great 55-inch plus HD 4K displays by almost letting them flip that from their phone to the TV in a seamless way. And that's where we are today. That's not even what's going to come in the future. That's where we are today. And beyond that is the ability to control various aspects of the guest stay from an infotainment or entertainment type standpoint. We get demand for conference hotels to be able to live stream their events that are happening downstairs or attached to the convention center in their rooms for only a subsegment of the guests. So again, you're tying in with the group code in your PMS system, and you're authenticating a live stream of content only to specific rooms via the TV. And right there, that's using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subsystems, right, of hotel technology working in tandem together, and they all have to work and they all have to be there to provide that amazing guest experience. From a backbone to a Wi-Fi system, to the television systems, to the live stream systems, to the robots. Again, I can't overemphasize the importance of being able to cooperate and work with all the systems in tandem. So, guest entertainment is no longer just 40 to 60 channels of TV, and you hope it's in HD. That was so 3 years ago. we're now talking about something completely different. And in 3 to 5 years, we'll be talking about something a little bit different too. But it's all dependent upon the same core systems. And so, and investing and managing those core systems is mission critical to provide all of this stuff, including guest room entertainment.
Aside from investing in the core systems and keeping up with the guest expectations while tailoring the experience to the hotel's particular niche, are there any final investments that hotel owners need to make in technology to further improve their platforms?
Yeah, that's a great question. And of course, with everything that Vaughn and Bob are saying, I couldn't agree more. And there's a lot that's been going through my mind as they're speaking. And it goes down to that fundamental platform, the core. You have to have the core in your hotel upgraded to current technologies and current standards, the fiber, the switching network, the Wi-Fi network. You have to have it all. You have to be able to support these technologies, whether they need to be hardwired or wireless, and really look at the security behind that, because, we are doing that. We are going through all of our hotels and we are looking at the infrastructure in detailed surveys and design reviews just to determine what do we need to do in order to meet these growing demands and these ever-changing needs of our guests and even our hotel associates with the technologies we're bringing in for them. So that is critical. And the bandwidth piece, which Vaughn talked about, there's no more days of 2 meg or 4 meg or 5 meg. You need to have the infrastructure in place to be able to give that bandwidth. So that was an excellent point. Another point that Bob went ahead and talked about has to do with just in general of making sure that you're planning for this. We still have the TV channels because we do have that segment of guests, and Bob, great point on that. When you attract in different types of guests, you have to make sure we're meeting all of their needs to have that personalized experience and make those memorable moments for them. And we can't assume that everybody likes the same thing. So as we're making investments, we're looking at the core, the infrastructure, we're looking at privacy. That's another big one, because again, as we're looking at personalization with our guests, we know a lot about them. So we have to make sure that they are comfortable with us knowing that we take our privacy policies and data protection policies very seriously. You mentioned the groups. I spent a lot of time looking at different group contracts, and they ask a lot of questions about privacy. Do you have this in your hotel? How do you handle it? And we're quick to answer. That's one thing my team and I are constantly reviewing with our legal team on making sure that we're giving that confidence to the groups that are wanting to come in, the meeting planners, and be in our hotels and be able to give them that experience that they want as well. So we have to think about that. We have to think about security. We have to think about, to both of your points on the networks, we have to make sure that we have guaranteed uptime. We have to make sure, as we're putting more devices on, that we're not oversaturating the network. We have to make sure that we minimize latency. We have to make sure that we are doing what we need to do on the traditional IT technology side to support the new digital technologies and enable those networks to be able to handle all of these wonderful innovations that we're bringing in to give memorable experiences to our guests.
And Vaughn, as we've discussed different hotel niches and adapting to different guests' expectations, what final thoughts do you have in regards to tech investment?
I would encourage all of our owners and operators to really take a look outside of the realm of the .com bubble PTSD, right? Forget about it. It's over. Let it go. If you wanted to invest heavily in the technologies that are available right now, you can see much improved bottom line, improved GOP percentage. I mean, the opportunities are endless. I'll give you an example. We are still using legacy credit card systems, and we're still paying credit card fees. How long has crypto been alive? Quite some time. And no one wants to embrace much. They're dabbling. I see some brands getting involved, but no one's accepting crypto as one of their other tenders. And that can eliminate your credit card fees alone right there if you were to accept cryptocurrency, right? Just a little example of ways you can find savings with all of this technology that's available to us today. And get out of that PTSD bubble, right? There are, you know, Elon Musk has rockets flying and landing themselves in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, right? He's delivering payloads into lower Earth orbit. There's a constellation of satellites that are beaming 600 megabits per second up and down directly to homes with Starlink. There's cars that drive themselves. I haven't driven my car. I haven't driven in like 3 years. I have no idea what that feels like anymore. My kids won't know what it feels like to go to a gas station. I have a system in my home that takes energy from the sun and converts it into a battery that then powers my home and then charges my cars. These are all technologies that can be available to hotels, right? We need to embrace solar more, right? There's a big green initiative that everyone's talking about. And yes, it's important, right? We need to take care of our environment, but from an owner's perspective, everything is related to profits, right? We get it. And I understand it's your business. I'm not mad at you, but take a look at what and how the technology can help you get to that end goal, as well as in the same time, ensuring that we have a much cleaner, safer environment. So that would be my encouragement, because I can talk about this for 10 million years with all of the technology that's available right now. But yeah, that would be my advice. Take a look at every single line item on your P&L. So, do we still need to go about this the same way we've done for the past 20 years? Is there an opportunity for us to innovate? Is there an opportunity for us to find some cost savings while it's innovating? Right? Look at your labor models. Look at your operating model. Look at your guest journey. Is it the same? Or is there an opportunity to innovate on top of that? That's my advice. I'll leave it there.
I know, Bob, you'd love to add a little more to that as well.
Yeah, I think those technologies are coming, and I completely agree. I'm aboard. I think the only thing that's certain is that things are going to change. And with all of those technologies, they all have to be supported, right? When something breaks, you've got to be able to have it fixed. And I think that the days of just having a call center are behind us. I think you have to have a call center, but you also have to be able to look at how you can leverage, augmented reality and autonomous learning and machine learning in the service realm, so you can predict when things are going to break. You can see when there are fluctuations out of the norm in terms of electronics performing the way they should perform. You have to make that investment. And I know here at World Cinema, we're making significant investments in something we call the Service Transformation Initiative. And it's a year-long project where we're instituting kind of an omni-channel. How do customers want to communicate with us both today and in the future? So SMS messaging, communicating via web portals, communicating via email, communicating via phone calls, communicating via the very systems that we install inside of the hotels, or maybe it's not communicating with human beings anymore. Maybe it's communicating with other systems and delivering service that way. So service is mission critical. It is the glue that brings all these things together, that makes all these things possible. You cannot have the advanced technologies that we're talking about if you don't have a core foundational network. And my last thought on this is that this is not just for the luxury or boutique hotel industry, right? This is across every single bit of hospitality, from limited service on up. I am amazed how many hotels still install very limited bandwidth, asymmetrical cable modems to provide their core Wi-Fi network connectivity. It's an amazing amount of hotels that still do that. And I'm amazed by that. Even large-scale hotels, which you would think were full service and very high quality in terms of their service levels, are still only installing a gigabit circuit, and it's not even a business grade gigabit circuit. So I'm amazed about how much growth we have to see in this industry. I'm excited about it too, because I think the sky is the limit. I do think that people should not be afraid of it, and they should embrace it, and they should look for peers and other owners and partners that have the same mindset and that believe the same thing. And in the end of the day, that's going to maximize your return on investment.
I think we're all excited about upcoming technological innovation, and the industry as a whole realizes it needs to keep pressing the issue and advancing the guest experience and personalizing it, utilizing data. This has been a great conversation about it. I know we could talk for hours about it. I hope we do it again soon. To close, we'd like to thank you all for joining the International Luxury Hotel Association's webinar series. If you found the webinar to be of value, please do share the recording. Recordings of past webinars can be found on the ILHA's website, theilha.com, under this webinar series.